So today we're going to walk through just how to set up cyberduck to upload your files to the server. Okay, so I'm going to take my Hello World project. I'm just going to take the starter version. I'm going to put it up on the server. So stop me if anybody has questions along the way. I would rather actually answer things you guys are wondering about than just regurgitating things you might already know. So the first thing I'm going to do, log into my AWS, and I'm going to grab the server host name. Okay. So the way we do that, we go to EC2. And then this is our dashboard. We can click to running instances here or over on the left where it says instances over here. And that will bring up my one server right here that's green and running. So I'm just going to click on that. And then down below is where the public DNS name is. This is referred to as a host name. So I want to just grab it. Where did my little copy thing go? Okay, so if you hover over it, usually you can click copy to clipboard. Okay, so it'll copy that to the clipboard so you don't have to retype it or carefully copy paste it. It's a common enough thing. They know people need that, so they added a little pop-up thing there. Okay, so now we're going to launch. We can probably close this down for now. And I didn't add cyberduck to my list here. So let's open up cyberduck. So in your case, on Windows, if you just hit the window key and start typing cyber, it should appear there. You should be able to launch it that way. You should theoretically be able to double click on it and it should start. I don't know why it's not liking all my clicks here. Or maybe it's just not wanting to open. So I'm going to try opening. Oh, there we go. Just slow. Okay, so this is cyberduck with nothing set up. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a site here. Okay, and then it'll create the server in your listing there. So cyberduck is meant to, you could connect to, you could have 10 different sites if you wanted to. So the very first thing here is in this list, the default is FTP, which is file transfer protocol, just like it says. We want to be better than that, so we're going to actually use SFTP, which is just FTP over a secure shell connection. Okay, so that you're going to use your key and all that kind of stuff. So then for URL, I'm going to just paste in our server name. It's going to default to port 22. That is correct. You should leave that alone. Under the username, one thing you'll notice under server here, there is no http://. That's because we're not connecting over HTTP for one thing. We're just using the host name here. Okay, and so it creates this URL to point that out that we're going to use SFTP for that. Okay, so that first part, the SFTP:/ or HTTP:// that's the protocol we're using. Okay, so we're going to use SFTP for this. And this part is simply EC2, the minus sign, EC2-user. And that's the same for all of us. Okay, so because it's an EC2 server, the default username is EC2 user. Okay, and then if we had a password, we could put in a password here. That's a pretty common thing for an FTP or SFTP connection, but we're going to use our key. Okay, so I'm going to just hit choose here, and I'm going to hunt my key down. Mine's going to be a little harder to find than yours. And I think I used this one. I should get rid of the ones that are old. I should practice what I preach there, right? So regardless, you have to pick your PEM file. I have a bunch to pick from. You probably have one, so that should be easier. Okay. One thing that can happen here is, actually that's in FileZilla. So just make sure that that you select the PEM file, not something else. Okay. All right, and then we do want to go to more options here because we want to fill in the path name. Okay, and this is also going to be the same for everybody. Your website files are stored in var www html. Okay, so /, and it does matter. Backslashes are not forward slashes. Forward slashes are not backslashes. So Windows directories are denoted by the backslash. So that's what this is up here. z:\\AWS/demo. So these are forward slashes. So if it's leaning forward, you know, we read left to right. So if it's leaning to the right, it's a forward slash. It's leaning forward. Okay. Anybody have any questions about that? So these are things that I'm just giving you. You wouldn't have any reason to necessarily know these things, but these are just the things to fill in here. Okay. And then finally, under download folder, you're going to choose where your actual projects sit. So again, I'm going to do I have to go into here? Yep. So mine is a little buried. Yours does not have to be so buried. Okay. So then what this does is then every time you go into here, you're not reinventing the wheel, having to locate in your file system where your projects are or on the server where the projects sit on your server. Okay, so we're presetting this so it's done once and then we're good to go. Okay, so then we should be able to just X out of this, and then I'm going to double click to connect. It's going to say unknown fingerprint, which is what it should do because we're connecting for the first time. So it doesn't know about it. This isn't an error message, okay? So I would select the box here that says always and then click allow, and then that shouldn't pop up again, okay? And then we have our projects here, okay? So this is the view on your server, okay? So, the things we're going to worry about are, well, I'll just kind of go through what's in here right now, okay? So I pre-filled in just blank empty projects for all the projects we're going to do, okay? And those have files within them, okay? So in the case of Hello World, there are some files in here. We're going to wipe these out and replace them with our files that we worked on, okay? So in fact, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to shift click. So click on the first one, hold the shift key down, click on the last one in the list, and then I'm going to hit the delete key. I guess I can't hit the delete key. What do I have to hit here? It's hard when I'm on Windows here. So can I do control delete here? No. Okay, so we're going to do what I say not to do, and we're going to right click on it and go to delete. But there should be a shortcut key for that. Okay, so those are deleted. Okay, so Hello World is empty. So then what I want to do is, probably the easiest thing to do is just locate our files just in Windows and drag them over. Okay, so so I have the Hello World project here. Okay, so let's just do it like this. Okay. So I have my Hello World project. If I want to update the project, so on the left are my local files, the ones on my computer, or on your USB drive, or whatever you're using to store your things as you work on them locally. Now, when I say local, that means like the computer in front of you. That's the local computer. Okay. So the server or the remote host, this is where the public web server where I'm going to look at your projects is, okay? Or anybody else you want to show. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to select Hello World and I'm going to drag it over here. And it'll probably say, hey, do you want to update it for sure? Because we're overriding a folder. I'm going to say, yep. Okay. And so now all my projects are in there. Okay. So if I go back to my, back to here, Open up a new tab. I'll paste in the host name. It'll pop up my server, my project list. If I click on Hello World here, if I actually fixed my Hello World. So let's do that. You might have done the same thing. So, oops. So we're going to actually change this. Okay, so we'll just delete Hello World again here. Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna just go into here. I'm gonna select all of these except for the PDF. Oops. So I'm gonna control click on these. So click on the first one, hold the control key down, click on the next one, and then click on index. You don't have to be this crazy about it. But then I'm gonna just drag it up into be in Hello World, because when I unzipped it, I put the Hello World starter into Hello World by mistake. Easy mistake, lots of people do that. And so then I'm just gonna delete this Hello World starter since I moved the files over. Everybody kind of understand that? That's kind of like Windows file operations 101, but if you're lost on that, let's address that right away. All right, so now we'll go back up here, and now I'll drag over Hello World. Theoretically. Okay, so now upload's complete. We'll go back to our server here. I'm gonna hit refresh, and it loads up my index.html right away. Okay. So that is all there is to it. So then anytime you make a change to your files at all, and I'll show you that too. So if I go into Hello World and I edit with Notepad++ this hello world.css, if I change the background to be just a different color, okay, and I hit save, so I'm hitting save with Control S. If I go back to my web browser and I hit refresh, that is not going to take effect. Okay. So what we need to do is open up our cyberduck and our folder that we have it in, and we can either drag just the thing we updated specifically into the Hello World folder here, and it'll ask us if we want to update it, and we do, or we can drag the whole folder over, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so then if I go and I refresh, it should change the color. Okay, so every time you make a change, you have to copy back up to the server in order for it to be there. Okay, does that make sense? Anybody confused about that? Okay, you will be, even if you think you won't be, because it makes total logical sense, but you'll swear you uploaded it when you didn't. Okay, because I've done the same thing. I think everybody does. Okay, cool. So that is cyberduck and uploading files. Any questions about that at all? Okay, so what I was hoping to do then is to give you guys time to do that. Is that good? And then I'll help anybody who needs it, right? Or is everybody done? Should we move on? We can move forward. So otherwise, I'll stop our recording, but I'm planning on giving you the next quiz and the next project. Maybe not tonight because I'll be busy, but probably tomorrow. Okay. So let's just stop our recording here.